Good day, good people. Relevant Thoughts blog is back. I'm your guy, Lewis to the T, and as always, I am excited to talk to you. I'm excited to talk to you guys about anything, but you know Black History Month is my time of year that I really do get excited about the various subjects. Even if it's not necessarily a warm and fuzzy subject, it's still exciting to share knowledge, to exchange knowledge, to gain wisdom during this time of year about who we were and who we are as a people. I'm going to be talking about the NFL today. I got on a Colin Kaepernick shirt, so you know that's where I'm going to start. Today is Thursday, February 10th, 2022, and I'm just going to start off by talking about Colin Kaepernick. I haven't watched the NFL in many years, specifically because of Colin Kaepernick. I used to watch religiously. It was something that I got an opportunity to bond with my friends over. You know, we would go out, have some food, have some drinks, watch the game, or we would stay in and talk about the game via text or, social media. And it was just an exciting, good time. But for me, when I realized that Colin Kaepernick taking a knee in protest against police brutality of African American people would lead to him not being in the NFL, I could just no longer support it. But I know that many people do, and that is their right. Colin Kaepernick in 2016, which is now 6 years ago, decided to take a knee in protest against police brutality against African American people, and he did so during the playing of the national anthem. His reason for doing this literally was about police brutality, but many people in the media rewrote the narrative. They snatched the narrative, they attempted to rewrite the narrative and just talk about him being unpatriotic, that this was an attack on the American flag and on the American people, even though he got his advice from a service member. He got his advice from somebody in the United States military on how to protest and how to do so respectfully. But even still, people attempted to take his narrative from him, to hijack it, to make it something that it wasn't. He actually has a Netflix documentary out now. It's on, you can find it on Netflix. I would suggest looking it up, understanding his story, kind of understanding the historical context of the NFL beginning with Colin Kaepernick. But as far as I know, it started long before him. And we know that in athletics in general, it started outside of him. We saw African American players protesting decades ago at the Olympics by raising their fists, and they were called disgrace, and they were, winners standing on a podium, and they were still not treated as American heroes as they should have been when they returned home. So I started this out talking about Colin Kaepernick, but now today we have Coach Brian Flores, or ex-coach, for the Miami Dolphins. Brian Flores filed a lawsuit against 3 teams, including the Miami Dolphins, for his firing, stating that it was discrimination, stating that he was fired illegally, that it had absolutely nothing to do with his performance or his collaboration. I believe what they said was that he was not collaborating well, which is another term for not being a good team player. If you work in corporate America and you have black or brown skin, you have heard those words about being a team player. And it's ironic because I was listening to Emmanuel Acho the other day. I hope I said his name right. He's a former linebacker and now a Fox Sports News analyst. He was on ABC's The View, and he was saying that Brian Flores has actually had the longest winning streak of any head coach within the Miami Dolphins organization in the past 22 years. So I think that Brian probably has a really good case that he's making for the fact that he has been the winningest coach, or had the winningest seasons and streak in the last 22 years of any head coach in the organization, and yet he's being fired. He's also, part of his lawsuit is the fact that he was offered an interview for a job that had already been taken with another organization. That he was told that he would be interviewed to play for the New England Patriots, and lo and behold, someone had already been offered that position even before he walked through the door to get his interview. And this is raising concerns about something called the Rooney Rule, which I was not even aware of, even when I watch the NFL on a regular basis. But the Rooney Rule states that when you have an open coaching position, a head coaching position, that you are required to interview at least one candidate of color. That the NFL being made up of 70% African American men, you have to interview at least one. Well, the Rooney Rule is backfiring on the NFL because just interviewing is not enough. You have to interview in good faith. And you're not interviewing in good faith if you've already given the job away. So today's Black History Moment is in reference to the NFL. I talked about Colin Kaepernick and Brian Flores, but it's really about the unity required for Black people to get the respect that they deserve within these spaces, whether it's corporate America or the NFL or NASA. We have to make sure that we unify and rally around our brothers and sisters who are not being treated fairly and properly in their field of work. I still hope Colin Kaepernick comes back only because it's what he wants. Still this year and last year, he referenced wanting to play in the NFL. So I hope that's something that he gets to accomplish again. For me, until I see that the NFL has turned over a new leaf or at least pretended to do so, I won't be watching. But I support the people that still watch the NFL games. I support the people that have family members that are on these teams because they're earning a living for their families. But we have to make sure that we stand up for the people that are there, that we let our voices be heard, and that even if you watch religiously, that you are still making a statement that this type of treatment is not okay. I'm your guy, Lewis to the T. This has been a Relevant Thoughts blog. You'll see this on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and just a little snap on Twitter.